My stepson idolizes his cheating dad, despises me, ignores his half-siblings. But when he found out his half-siblings' college fund is bigger than his, he now demands my money. My wife Emily is 38 and I am 39, and we have been married for 12 years. Emily has a son, James, 17, from a previous relationship with Daniel. Emily left Daniel when she caught him cheating with a coworker. They shared 50-50 custody of James. I met Emily about a year after she had left Daniel. A year later, Daniel married his affair partner, and Emily and I got married soon after. James never really bonded to me. I admit that I tried a little too hard initially to get him to like me, but backed off when I realized I was trying too hard and it was having the opposite impact. Over the years, we've built a tense acceptance of sorts, if that makes sense. Emily and I have 3 kids, a girl aged 10 and 2 boys aged 7 and 4. James doesn't have a good relationship with them either. He bonds well with Daniel's sons, but doesn't like spending much time with our kids. He isn't mean to them, but just ignores them mostly. The eldest 2 now just avoid him when he is home. Emily and I both have well-paying jobs, and early on, we decided that I would contribute 80% to our trio's college fund, and Emily would do 20% because she would contribute 100% to James' college fund. We didn't know if Daniel was making any such arrangements on his end, but we thought that at least this way James would have something instead of nothing. Emily recently sat him down to talk to him about his college fund. He seemed happy with the financial help he was going to get. He went off to Daniel's for the weekend, and when he came back, he asked Emily about our kids' college funds. When he learned that the amount was fairly higher than his, he was upset. When he asked about the disparity, Emily told him about our college fund setup. He was furious to know that I hadn't contributed to his college fund. He said that I was just pretending to play family with him all these years, that I really didn't care about him and was a heartless asshole. Emily suggests that we could take some money out of our youngest fund and give it to James and that she would add it back over time. But she said that it's my call, that she won't pressurize me either way and would accept whatever I decided. Quite frankly, I don't want to do it. James idolizes his shitty father, even now that he knows he cheated on his mother. I could deal with his crappy behavior with me, but I never understood his attitude towards our kids. We even tried going to family therapy, but he refused to go because I wasn't his family. Now, when he needs money, suddenly I am family. I know I am perhaps being petty, but I don't want to give him the money. Best comments. He has 2 parents to contribute to college. They could put the money for him. Sounds like Daniel had better step up. I doubt that would happen. Daniel has never been good at keeping a steady income flow, and his wife is a stay-at-home mom. They aren't desperately struggling to make ends meet, but I could make an educated guess to say Daniel has probably not saved up for any of his kids' college funds. He should ask his biological father for money rather than Opie. That's it. Opie has already covered 80% of the college fund for his and Emily's 3 children. As for James, forget it. He doesn't even consider Opie as a family member. He should go to his lousy father to ask for the portion of the fund he feels he's missing. Why on earth did your wife tell him about the other kids' college funds? That was completely unnecessary and obviously only going to cause drama. He was fine before he knew, and now he's comparing himself to his siblings because your wife handed him ammo he didn't need. Your wife is the asshole here. First for talking finances with a 17-year-old, and then for suggesting you to raid the other kids' funds to make James feel better. That's not fair to them. If she wants him to have more, she needs to contribute, and she should be pushing his bio dad to step up as well. And if his dad still won't, then James deserves honesty. The difference isn't because you don't care, it's because his mom is the only one contributing for him, while his siblings have 2 parents funding theirs. That's the reality, and it's not on you to cover for his bio father's lack of involvement. Update number 1. I think some clarifications are in order. Number 1. I don't hate that James idolizes his father. I hate that he blames his mother for their family breaking up. When James was 13, he had heard from one of his older cousins, Daniel's side, what his father had done that led to Emily leaving. When he confronted her about it, she explained. We tried for therapy then, but didn't happen. I will explain later. Last year, he told his mother that he believes she was responsible, that instead of leaving Daniel, she should have forgotten about what he did and continue to stay with him. Emily was expectedly shocked, but when she asked him if the situation was reversed and she had cheated on Daniel and he left her, would then Daniel be blamed for the family breaking up? He said no, that would definitely be her fault, and made no further explanations. This was not as a result of an argument or heat of the moment statement. Ironically, this was a casual dinner table conversation. The other kids had to be excused from the table. Number 2, when Emily and I had gotten together and things were starting to look serious, she had wanted to take him to a child therapist who could help him adjust better to the changing situation around him. Since they shared 50-50 custody, Daniel's consent was needed and he refused. When we were going to get married, we tried for therapy. Daniel said he got married before us and James had no issues. We were overreacting. He didn't need therapy. When the above incident happened, Emily was pregnant with our daughter, and this time we asked him directly. We thought if he agreed to family therapy, then we could speak to our lawyer and work around the custody arrangement, since he was almost an adult. This was when he refused therapy, saying I wasn't family. Number 3, for all those saying that I am treating a teenager like an adult, that I made him feel like the other and not one of us, we tried. When we both started earning well, we wanted on splurge on our kids during birthdays and holidays. James was never excluded. Whatever our kids got, he got too. In fact, as he was older, he got to pick what he wanted. For his 11th birthday, he wanted to go to Disney World. Both of Daniel's kids were invited. His youngest son and my daughter are the same age. He went, she wasn't invited. We stayed home. Number 4, we started the college funds about a year after our daughter was born. Emily couldn't start one for James earlier since she was a stay-at-home mom when she was with Daniel. It took her a while to get back on her feet. She wasn't in a position to immediately start a college fund for him. Well, a lot of you pointed out is right. He has been shortchanged. Emily will rectify that and make up the deficit he should get by the time he starts college. But that will still not make it as much as he remaining 3. We have decided to sit and have a chat with him this weekend about everything. Update number 2, 5 days later. It's been an eye-opening weekend. Thanks to everyone who weighed in, even the aggressive ones. I knew what I was signing up for posting on Reddit. Before the update, a couple clarifications because gaps in info turned into wild assumptions. When I said I came on a little too strong with James when we met, some of you picture me grabbing a toddler by the neck and hissing, "Call me daddy," no? I was nervous and acted like an idiot and used an over-the-top baby voice because I'd barely been around toddlers. Emily later said, I sounded like a circus clown on 2 cartons of Red Bull. Cringe? Absolutely. Malicious? I don't think so. Many called my wife the asshole for sharing the college fund amounts for our kids. I showed her the post. She explained James came back from Daniel's with questions when the fund started, how much, etc. He said, paraphrasing, so mine is X and theirs is Y, with his X higher than our kids' Y. Without thinking, yes, stupidly, Emily corrected him. No, yours is Y and theirs is X. That snowballed in what I wrote earlier. It wasn't a diabolical plan to make me pay more. It was a thoughtless correction. With that out of the way, Emily, James, and I sat down for a conversation yesterday. James didn't want to talk to me, but I told him that if he expected me to even think about contributing to his college fund, then I've got loads of questions he needs to answer. It was an extremely long conversation, and many revelations came to be. So, I'm going to give a summary of the things we finally found out from James. Even before Emily and Daniel had broken up, not divorced, they were never married, Daniel had occasionally brought James to his AP's place, so James was familiar with AP. After the breakup, Daniel immediately moved in with his AP. Emily, who was a stay-at-home mom till then, struggled initially to get back on her feet. Needless to say, James' home life with Emily was a little more chaotic than at Daniel and his AP's. Emily hadn't told James that she had left his father since he'd cheated on her. Telling that to a toddler wouldn't make any sense. But apparently, in the early days, Daniel used to tell James that Emily would eventually come back to him. I think he may have been holding out hope for reuniting with Emily. And that's where I came in. Daniel told James that as long as I am around, I would not let Emily go back to Daniel. When Daniel married his AP, he told James that it was temporary. It was a way to make Emily jealous. When we got married, he told James that it was my way of making it even more difficult for Emily to get back to their family. When James had found out from his cousin, Daniel sighed, that his father had cheated on his mother, which was the reason for their breakup, James had asked Emily about it, and she was open and honest about everything. When he confronted Daniel about the same, he told James that Emily had left him for a long time and his loneliness made him miss her a lot, and so he found some comfort with AP. Emily's father had met with a car accident, and she was with her parents for about 3 weeks to help them. And that's all the alone time Daniel could handle before he needed to dip his wick in something. But it was a reasonable enough explanation for James to absolve his father of all sins. When Emily got pregnant with our daughter, Daniel told James, now that I've started pumping my spawn into his mother, exact words James used, James' family was destroyed forever. He told James that Emily and I had been wanting to take him to therapy, which was actually a ruse. What we were really trying to do was take him to a doctor who would declare him a problem child, and then we would ship him off to boarding school so that we could continue to play happy family without being bothered by him. Only Daniel and his family was fighting to keep James with them. James admitted that he had hoped his detached behavior around my family and happy and joyous behavior around Daniel's would convince Emily that my kids and I were evil and she would eventually leave us. But sadly, I kept knocking up his mom, making it harder for her to leave. Expectedly, Emily was beyond distraught to hear everything. To be honest, in the moment I couldn't wrap up head around it much either. I asked if Daniel had a college fund saved up for him and his sons. James said AP's parents have set up a trust fund for Daniel's sons, but that does not include James since he isn't their grandson. Daniel's not saved up anything for anyone. I asked James why he suddenly thinks I should contribute to his fund when he has turned down every opportunity for us to be a family. He said he was actually okay with the amount that Emily initially told him about, but Daniel made him realize that we were undercutting him, so he came back to demand more. I asked if I pay the money, will that then make us family? Even if he can't accept me as a step-parent, can we be friends? Can he be a little friendlier with my kids when he is around? He straight up said no. He said that after all these years, he knows me or my kids are not the evil beings his father made us seem. But he still feels I'm the reason his parents could never get back together again, and for that he will always hate me. And since my kids are, well, my kids, he's never going to like them either. And since now he knows that Emily isn't going to leave her family, he said his plan was once he was off to college, he would cut off contact with all of us. He does plan to eventually get back in touch with his mother when he feels he is ready to forgive for breaking up his family, but he can't do that right now. Emily and I have had a long and honest discussion. I have decided that I will not be making any contributions to James' college fund. Emily will continue the contribution that she was already making and hand it over to him once he turns 18. We will no longer be pursuing family therapy with James. We will not try to change James' mind about going no contact with us after he goes off to college. We've done all that we could do. We're going to stop now. If James is happy with Daniel's family, then we're happy for him. It's going to be hard for Emily, but even she has accepted that after James' recent revelations, she's having a hard time reconciling her little boy with this cynical teenager. We have both taken individual and couples therapy before, mainly due to the stress and anxiety James' behavior used to put on us as a family. We are looking into starting again. Hopefully, we'll be able to overcome this in time. Best comments. This is so sad and infuriating. I don't envy you. Daniel is a piece of shit. I'm sorry James can't see the light, and I hope in the future he's able to grow and see who has actually loved him. James is a piece of shit too. Sorry, but he wants graciously forgive his mom for breaking family when it was his own father who was knocking a coworker. There's trauma, and there's straight being an asshole. And James is an asshole plus. That kid is not in the right frame of mind to still be blaming Emily. I think he was completely brainwashed by his father, and maybe in a few decades when he's an adult, he'll understand what really happened and realize how unfair he was to his mother. Emily should take back the fund. I bet she and Opie can find all kinds of household renovations it could be used on and let his fantastic cheating father to deal with his education.